Okay, guys, so welcome to this video looking at the Australian stock market index, the ASX 200, and looking at a bullish trend that's playing out in the markets at this moment in time because Australia is expected to return to growth coming out of the COVID-19 recession of this year. Its first recession in over 30 years, but its biggest export client, China, is recovering strongly. It's the only country to not go through a recession in 2020. And China is expected to outgrow many of the rest of world economies in 2021. And remember, China being the world's second largest economy drives growth in the Asian region. We can clearly see here from Australia's analysis of its key trading partners that Asia is its main trading hub where it sells a lot of its main exports to. We can clearly see that iron ore and coal are the two main exports alongside petroleum. So commodities are Australia's key exports, and we know that commodities are cyclical assets that trade in line with global growth expectations. So with growth returning in China, this is boosting the Asian region's recovery from the pandemic of this year, and it's increasing the demand for Australia's key exports. Because if we look at iron ore, for an example, we can see that China is buying 80% of their iron ore, which is their second biggest export. When we're looking at where they're selling their coal, again, China is their third biggest export market, and India and Japan are the other two. And remember, this is within the Asian region. So most important for us to understand is that when China returns to growth this year, this does boost Australia's key exports to the Asian region, because growth within Asia is reliant on China, and this is going to help the Australian economy come out of the pandemic slump of this year. So we're seeing stocks recover quite strongly in Australia. I did post a previous video giving a good buy call. We're now coming down from a pullback and pushing back higher to the upside, and we're going to get above now the previous pullback high. And this is probably a really good opportunity to get into the markets now, because we're on a global recovery. The vaccine's coming out now, and we're seeing stock markets recover, and the Australian dollar is also getting stronger in the markets alongside the index. And we're now coming close to the highs of the year before the pandemic sell-off started, when the coronavirus pandemic first gripped the global economy. So what we need to do is we need to look at a 1 month volatility stop loss. So on average, this index fluctuates by around 7% on average. So if you're going to jump into the market, you could wait for a break just above 67.50, and you could take a buy position, but you need to make sure your stop loss is at least 7% to the downside to give this index, the room it needs to maneuver over a 1 month window. Because if you look again, you can see the pullbacks in this index. They are roughly around 7%. So you want to make sure you give the market the room it needs to fluctuate by. But this is a very, very good buy. Just understanding that Australia's index market had been going continuously higher since 2009, since the last recession. So a very strong bull market was in play for over 10 years before the recession hit of this year. And remember, Australia didn't have a recession for over 30 years. So clearly, it's a very good option to buy the index, because over the past 10 years, you've seen it continuously moves higher in the market. So there we have it, guys. We can have a look at the Australian stock market. It's a strong buy right now. Definitely, I recommend getting into this trade. As I did post previously, this is a trade I'm already in. A lot of my members are in a profit for this trade, which is great. And hopefully this can continue to the upside as the vaccine news is more positive for the ASX 200 index. So there we have it. We have a bullish call on this index and a strong buy. Thank you.